Hello, everybody. So I'm going to start with a little video just to kind of try to summarize what we're doing, and then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper so that you can understand where we're going with this.
Life is about movement, going places, connecting people and businesses. But our movements are affecting our weather systems, our environments. Emissions keep rising, storms keep raging, the planet is warming, the balance is tipping. Something has to change, which is why we created Zeero. Solutions exist, and you can be part of this journey. Imagine what our industry could achieve if we all worked together, and we were all heading towards the same goal. Zeero unifies industry climate contributions through joint ventures, shared ownership, shared success, a collective impact supporting nature, communities, renewable energies, and businesses. A holistic approach where everybody wins. But now our ambitions have grown even bigger. Imagine a solution that reduces emissions and reduces waste, helping to keep our rivers and coastal waters clean, bringing energy to communities and keeping the world moving. Introducing Zeero's new generation low-carbon biofuels, 81% lower in emissions than fossil fuels. Drop-in fuels keeping our existing transport infrastructure in place. A scalable innovation, turning a problem into a resource. Using sewage, organic waste from food and agriculture through hydrothermal liquefaction, HTL technology. A circular closed-loop waste-to-value system for a cleaner, safer, more resilient planet, turning responsibility into opportunity, where positive impact brings lasting returns for communities, businesses, and our world.
So I want to start by sharing a quote by Robert Swan. He is an explorer, he's an activist, and a historian. He said, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." I just want to rephrase that quote now. The greatest threat to our industry is the belief that someone else will save it. So the fact remains that if we really want to secure the future of travel, us, and I'm talking about the whole ecosystem, we need to work a lot harder on taking responsibility, especially for our emissions, because that, we are creating emissions as we're going to these destinations, and our transport systems cannot do this on their own. So we need to all come together to bring about these changes that we need, that we desperately need. So we've been using the word collaboration for, I would say, the last 5 years, quite a lot. and I'm really hoping that what I'm going to show you today will help you to take maybe that, or inspire you to take that first important step where we really could make a difference together. So Zeero is proposing the creation of joint ventures where we're unifying isolated efforts, shifting from fragmented climate actions to shared industry-wide commitment. So one of the methods is through a simple climate contribution. With each booking, we will issue share points. So this is a kind of a loyalty point system, which we will then convert into actual shares of projects that we are developing around the world. This is a shared responsibility, shared success model. So Zeero also believes that we need to look at the bigger picture, which is why we take a holistic approach to accelerate and scale up real-world impact where we're combining support for renewable energies, biofuels, waste management, and nature-based solutions. So let's now dig a little deeper into our Zeero Energies projects that we have identified as a remarkable two-in-one, globally scalable solution. This is an innovation that tackles two of humanity's greatest challenges, waste and emissions, producing ultra-low carbon biofuels and solving waste management issues at the same time. So these advanced biofuels, this uses a technology called hydrothermal liquefaction, HTL. This is a proven, patented technology accelerating Earth's process to produce oil, going from millions of years to just 15 minutes. Yes, you heard right. So this technology turns organic bio-waste into advanced biofuels using wastewater, sewage, agricultural, and food waste. This is a circular, closed-loop waste-to-value system producing biocrude oils that are a minimum of 81% lower in emissions than fossil fuels. These drop-in fuels integrate seamlessly with existing infrastructures, waste, energy, and transport systems, supporting a circular economy, driving energy independence, and keeping the world moving. Unlike other current biofuel production, HTL requires little to no precious resources, such as fresh water or arable land, and is not dependent on weather conditions. HTL also reduces municipal costs for waste management, and with subsidized costs, this helps make Zeero's biofuels more affordable. So let me show you now a little bit about how this process actually works. So let's start over at the left. So as you've understood, we need to get the biomass into this process. Now, there are HTL units. They are literally around 10 meters by 10 meters. They're at the height of a shipping container. And they're able to be manufactured within 12 months and easily transported and installed at wastewater works. Now, each unit costs about $15 million, okay, which is actually, in the bigger scheme of things, it's not very much. We can also produce much bigger plants, okay? Now, the bigger plants will take 2 to 3 years to put together, but obviously they're not as mobile as these units are. The bigger units or the bigger plants as well, you're talking about 150 million investment. And just to give you an idea of kind of where we're at with this, for the bigger plant, we already have 2/3 of that investment. We're missing another 50 million, but it's out there at the moment. We have lots of discussions with countries all over the world, which I'll explain a little bit more a bit later on. So basically, the biomass, the sewage goes into this unit. 15 minutes later, out comes the biocrude oil that is 81% lower in emissions. Now, this biocrude oil also, the production of this biocrude oil will also have byproducts. Now, the amazing thing is the byproduct that comes out of this is, the primary one, is actually a safe crop fertilizer. Because of the process, it actually kills all the PFAS, so forever chemicals, that we find in sewage and in biomass. So this is a great byproduct to have because, you know, we can then use it for our crops, for our food systems, and we get rid of the forever chemicals, which is a big issue as well at the moment. There is also another byproduct, which there isn't as much, and this is a biogenic gases which come out, which we can produce green methanol and also even some synthetic aviation fuel. Now, obviously, the biocrude oils are going to need to be refined afterwards. Now, we have two options. So the first option is that we can actually have an on-site fuel converter. Now, this is actually really great because it means we can have fuels. For example, this would be great for island communities where there are lots of boats, for generators as well, because the biofuels that come out of here can also be used for generators for electricity. So that is one option. The other option is obviously that we would have to take the biocrude oils to a refinery. But the amazing thing is these biocrude oils, we can produce 4 different types of fuel. So we can produce biodiesels, 45%, 25% of that can be used to make SAF, and then we have gasolines, and then heavies is for our shipping and marine. So it's just an incredible process, and when we discovered this technology, we were just absolutely blown away and just thought, why isn't anybody doing this? And if they're not, then we need to do it. So that's why I'm standing here today. Now, just to give you a little bit of an idea of the output of this as well. So one unit can produce or can process 70 tons of wastewater per day, producing 5,000 litres of biocrude per day. Now, there's a saving of 10,000 kilos of carbon reduction per day. And just as an example, in 1 year, one HTL unit alone could provide fuel for 3,650 return coach trips from Paris to Nice. So I think you get the idea. These are just amazing, these units and this technology. And the thing that's really cool as well is this is so scalable. We can also put these on the back of a lorry. If somebody decides, if an island decides they want to have one of these, they can order it. Within 12 months, we can deliver that, plug it into the wastewater works, and we're away. And we can begin to decarbonize our transport. So, for wastewater companies, HTL is also a very promising solution to their increasing challenges. So with tourism, urban growth, and extreme weather, they are overwhelming our sewage systems, resulting in untreated wastewater increasingly spilling into our rivers and coastal waters. The environmental damage and the health risks to communities are rapidly increasing. These overflows are hazardous for both ecosystems and for recreational use. So waste management and the disposal of sewage sludge is also becoming much more regulated and complex. Sludge is often spread on fields as fertilizer, but growing research shows that toxic chemicals like PFAS are present and getting into our food. Now, the European Commission is currently taking legal action against member states for failing to adequately collect and treat urban wastewater. And in the UK, Thames Water, which is one of our largest wastewater works, was last year fined with a record £122.7 million. And Southern Water, just more recently, 90 million for unpermitted discharges going into our rivers and our coastal waters. And there are currently 81 investigations ongoing. So, access to energy and fuels. So obviously all our partners who will be working with us are going to have priority access to the fuels that will be produced locally or through a book and claim system when fuel delivery is not possible or efficient. So book and claim is a type of offset mechanism for sustainable fuels. And this uses a registry and public ledger blockchain system. So this allows our partners to claim the biofuels and the emission reductions regardless of their location. So biofuel revenues will help scale up the installation of more HTL units and bigger plants globally, which in turn will make the price of the biofuels come down. So I think we all know right now biodiesel remains costlier than fossil fuels, and this is mainly due to outdated production methods. So new technologies like HTL are changing this by using waste materials and qualifying for subsidies, bringing the price closer to fossil fuels. So as carbon penalties rise, biofuels will become more competitive. With strong demand from transport sectors for decarbonisation, scaling up affordable HTL production is now key. So we're also, just to let you know, Zeero is an RSB member, so this is the Roundtable of Sustainable Biomaterials, and this will actually also enable the certification of our fuels. So I just wanted to also give you a little bit of an example of how just, this climate contribution model that we're talking about and its potential impact. So if we had added a mere, say, €3 per booking to 4 billion travellers, so that was actually a number that was predicted in 2024, but this, I think, ended up being closer to 6 billion, and then, say, split that between renewable energies and nature projects, we could have installed 400 HTL units, producing 750 million litres of biofuels, reducing almost 1.5 billion kilos of greenhouse emissions. But we could have also planted 4 billion trees and supported reforestation projects that help communities, ecosystem, and biodiversity restoration. Within the first 10 years, those forests could also draw down 656 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions. So this is actually what's kind of called the butterfly effect, where small actions can create and bring about massive, even systemic change. So we're not just going to rely on climate contributions. So our approach is actually having a blended finance approach. So, and this is what's really going to help us to deliver these HTL projects. And the main reason for this is it will reduce risk, and it also aligns diverse interests towards shared goals. So we're also talking to governments for grants, for subsidies. We're also talking to investment funds, so private and institutional. And then we're also, as I said, we're looking for climate contributions from the whole ecosystem of the travel industry, per booking with OTAs, tour operators. And we're also looking for fuel offtake agreements. So those are pre-purchase fuel deals with the airlines, cruise, and coach tour companies. And as I said at the beginning, we're actually talking to quite a few countries at the moment. These are all conversations, but these will hopefully result in some amazing partnerships. So yeah, about 14 of them, and so we need some great partners from the travel industry to come and join us in those countries. So, return on investment. I think you're going to be quite shocked at what you see up there, because when we saw that, that's also kind of when we decided we need to go full steam ahead with this. So here you can see the competitive use of biomass and green power. So HTL represents the only available technology proven on scale that combines low capex with high energy efficiency. So each region and country where the HTL units will be installed will generate slightly different return on investments. However, as an example, we have calculated that an average will be of 6-year return on investment at 18% per annum. But this really is dependent on the different offtake agreements of bio-waste and sewage feedstocks that we're going to have to put into those units, into those plants. There's also obviously the potential of transport, distribution requirements, and refinery costs as well that we will have to take into consideration. And then also local taxation, subsidies, and grants. So finally, Zeero offers an amazing opportunity to take part in a joint venture to help decarbonize our industry. So just to recap, HTL is a globally scalable and circular model. It's foundational for a stable future and our world economies. HTL addresses two of our biggest challenges, waste and emissions. These drop-in fuels can be used in existing vehicles, ships, planes, rail, and infrastructure. The blended finance model reduces risks, and consistent climate contributions will provide stability and a steady stream of funding towards scaling production. This is a solution that brings energy independence to regions, islands, communities, as well as providing local employment opportunities in the green energy sector. Zeero's sustainability offer is not a cost, but an asset, turning responsibility into returns through the creation of sustainable, tradable, and profitable products. So travel industry, let's team up, let's scale up. We need brave, bold leaders who are going to help us. Our teams are ready, but we cannot do this on our own. You can send us an email right now, and let's get this show on the road. Thank you, guys.